Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In this session, we are going to solve output questions about arrays. In this slide, we have a couple of statements involving an array, and we have to find the output of this program. So what do we have? We have integer bracket list. It should include 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have integer y equals 10. Then we have a loop from I equals 0 till 3. We have to go to the array at a specific value and we have to save the value y, and then we have to increment y by 2. Once we finish, we have another loop. It says for integer x colon list, which means for each value in your array, you have to output the values. So let's start together. So the first statement, which says you have a bracket list from 0 to 4. So we will do the following. I will have to create an array and I should have the values 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these values between the curly brackets are the values should be saved inside my array. The name of my array is list, and of course the first index start from 0 and then it go up to the end of your array. So we have the length of the array as holding 5 elements starting from 0 to 4, and the values inside the array as 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we have integer y equals 10, so we have to declare a variable y, and the value of y should initially hold the value 10. And then it says for integer I equals 0, I should be less than 3, you have to execute the following statements. So the initial value of I will be 0 because it will start from the first index of our array. So I will have I, and I should be 0. I have to check 0, is it less than 3? Yes, so we'll have to go inside. Inside our for loop, it says go to your array, and then you have to execute the following formula, which says list.length. So this is my list, and the length of my list is 5. So I'll have to say 5 over 2 plus I. So 2 plus I. And my current I is 0. 5 over 2, this is an integer over an integer. So 5 over 2 will be 2. So this is similar to saying go to list at location 2. It should hold the value of y, which is 10. So go to your array at location 2, and the value you should save here is 10. And then go to your y and increment by 2, so the value of y should be as 12. Go back to your loop, increment I, because I have I plus plus. The value of I will be 1. Are we still within the range? 1 less than 3? True. So I have to go inside my loop. List of the formula. Length is still 5 over 2 plus I. The change is now in the I, so I should be changed. It's not 0. The value of I now is 1. So 5 over 2, which is 2 plus 1, which is a 3. So we have to do it in this way. List at column 3 should equal the value of y, current y, which is a 12. Go to this value and the value should be as 12. Increment the value of y by 2, so this one should come there and it should be as 14. And then go back and start your loop again. I plus plus, so the value of I will be as 2. And then go inside your loop. List at list of length over 2 plus I, and the current value of I is 2. So I'm saying 2 plus 2, which is 4. So I'm having a statement list bracket 4 equal y, which is 14. So go to index 4 and the value should be as 14. And then y plus equal 2, so the value of y should be as 16. And then go to your loop. You will reach the condition which says I plus plus and I should be less than 3. I plus plus will be 3. So when I reach 3 less than 3, this is false. So I should not execute the loop anymore. And when we finish the loop, we will come there, and then I have to execute the following. It says here, for integer x colon last, you have to do the output of the values of x. These statements are exactly doing the following. What it says you have to go to each value in your list, and you have to go one by one. Each time you have to save it in x, and then you have to output the value of x. So we will go with our loop and with our array. So I will go with my array, and the first value, the value of my x, will be the value inside my array, which is 0. And then I will do the output of the value of x, so I will do the output of 0. And then I will go back to my loop, and it says go to the next value in your list and save it in x. My next value is 1. Save it in x, so the value of x will be 1. And then do the output of x, and that's why we have the output as 1. And then go back to your loop, go to the next element, which is the new value 10. Save it in x, so x will be 10. Do the output, and this is 10. And similarly, you will go to 12 and you will go to 14. Save them in x and then output. So I will have here 12, and I will do the output of 12. I will have 14, and then I will do the output of 14. And then we will finish. If we think about it, this is more like writing it in this way. This is exactly the same thing as saying, I will have a loop starting from 0. I should be less than how many elements I have in my array, which is 5. Or I can say less dot length. It's the same thing, I plus plus. And then inside my for loop, I will say, I will do the output. So I have system.out.println, and then inside this I will say go and do the output of the array at location I. So these two for loop, they are doing exactly the same thing. If you are using a for integer x colon last, it means go for each value, save it in x, and then do the output of x. In this for loop, it says start from the beginning, go to the element, and then just go to this bracket. Usually these statements are used for output. It just make it easier that you don't have to say from 0 till the end. All what you have to say is integer x colon last, and then do the output of x. So automatically it will start from the beginning till the end of your array, and it will do the output for you. Let's do another exercise, and this time we will have two arrays, and we will do a couple of statements. So it is started by saying you should have integer bracket list 1, and you should have the following values. So I will declare an array. The name of my array is list 1. It should be holding the following values 2, 1, and 10. So location 0, 1, and 2. Integer list 2, new integer 5. It means I have to declare another array that says list 2, and I should have now the values that I should have 5 locations. So I have to draw 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we don't have the values inside. We have a variable integer index equals 0, so I have here index, and the value of index as 0. Now notice this, they say for integer x colon list 1, which means for each value inside list 1. So the first time when you start your loop, you have a value x, and the value of x should take the first value in the first location, which is 2. And then here it says, go inside your loop and say, if x modulus 2 equals 0, go to your x, which is 2. Is it an even number? Yes. So what do you have to do? You will have to say go to list 2 at location of the index, and which is 0. It should be having the value x. Go to your array list 2. In which location? Location 0. The value you have to save here is x, which is currently as 2. Index plus plus, it means increment index, so the value of index will be as 1. Because we executed f, I will not do the else, but I have to go back and I have to restart my loop. So we'll have to go to the beginning of the loop. Here I'll have to say for each x in my array, we have considered the first x. Now the x should go to the next element, which is 1. So I will have 1 over there. Now you have to check the if condition. Go to the value of x. Is it even? It's not. So I will go to the else. Within the else, it say increment x. So I will have to go to this x and I have to increment it, and I will have the value as 2. Remember, this x is outside the array, so you don't increment the element inside the array. You increment only the element which is x. Do the output of x. So that's why the first value you will get for your output is 2. And then go back to the beginning of your loop. Again, I'll have to take the value. We have an array which is 10. Save it in x. Is it an even number, the element you have, which is x? Yes. So go to the second array, which is list 2. So this is my second array. At which index? At index 1, because I'm having the value of the index as 1. And you should have the value x. So I should have the value here as 10. Increment x. So I will increment the value of 1 to 2. I will go back to my starting of the array, which says for each element in your list 1. And in our case, we finished all the elements in our array, so I don't have any more elements, which means we are done with the first loop. So I will go to the statement here. The statement here, it says, do the output of the index you have. Index equal, what is the value? The current value of index is 2. That's why we have the output here, index equal 2. Then you should have a for loop, says for integer I equals 0. I should be less than list1 dot length. I plus plus. Do the output of the element in list 1. This is list 1. And I have to do the output of the elements. The elements are 2, 1, and 10. So I have here 2, 1, and 10. And then I have another for loop from the beginning till the index. I don't have to go till the end. It's only till the index. The current value of the index is 2. So I should be less than 2. So I'll have to say 0 and 1 only. Do the output of list 2 at index I. So go to your array. If the index is 0, so you'll have to output the value 2. When the index is 1, you have to output the value 10. That's why we have 2 and 10. So in this exercise, what we did, we had 2 arrays. Let me just change the pointer. We have 2 arrays. We started the first array with 2, 1, and 10, and the other one as empty array with 5 locations. And then we had a loop that goes for each element in list 1. So this is list 1, and we went through all the elements. If the element inside list 1 is even, what we did, we save it in the second array and we increment index. So that's why, because 2 is even, we save it in this location. 1 is not even, that's why we go to the else and we say just increment x and do the output. So 1 is not even, I'm saving it in x and then I'm doing the output. Because 10 is even, then we have to save it in the second array and we increment index. That's why index at the end is representing how many elements I have in my second array. I have only 2 elements. Once I'm done with this array, with this loop, I will go and output the value of the index, and then I will have a loop that says starting from 0 till the end of list1 dot length. So this is list1 dot length. Do the output of the values. That's why you have 2, 1, and 10. I have another for loop from I0, I should be less than the index, which is 2. So the values we will have 0 and 1. And then do the output of list 2 at location I. This is list 2. The output you will have 2 and 10. That's why we have 2 and 10 here. This type of exercises, you have to be careful with which array you are dealing with. So is it list 1 or is it list 2? And the second thing is, remember, you have to remember, as when you are dealing with X, this is a normal attribute, a normal variable, and it's not inside the array. So if you have to change any value of X, it's not affecting the original array. These two exercises are taken from previous exams, which already you have them on Microsoft Teams. So there are plenty of exams there with the key solution. Please go there, double check these exercises, especially in examples of test 1, and then within the output, just double check did you get the correct answers or not. If you have any questions, please just write to me and then I'll be happy to answer you. So this session was talking about examples of arrays in terms of finding output questions. Thank you.